Welcome back to the Torque Test channel and our major Amazon head-to-head impact battle. The ultimate pursuit of high-power beans from affordable, no-name Amazon-only sort of brands. We spent almost $500 on the top cordless mid-torque impact wrenches on Amazon so that you don't have to. Well, to be honest, more like over $600 as we had to buy a latecomer contender for a good reason, but we'll get to that a bit later. When we first dipped our toes into the confusing world of Amazon brand cordless, we tested the #1 best-selling impact wrench on Amazon, the Avid Power, which sells usually for around $85 with a 3 amp hour battery, lug nut sockets, and charger. And let's be frank, it did better than we and many of you expected. Heck, just not dying was better than expected in our experience. The Avid just plain did well though. So today we add several names to the list to try and sniff out that value from names you've likely never heard of. And we'll be giving away all these tools that don't die today, and a real name brand impact wrench, and prizes specifically to our viewers who use impacts on the regular, like for their job. So maybe you, and it's for good reasons, so check out our community post or Instagram post to see if you qualify and reach out to us if you do. So you might have heard me say that we bought the top around $100 kit cordless options from Amazon brands, but how do we know what the top are? Well, certainly not fishy Amazon reviews, so really we don't, but stick with us for a bit as we have our reasons for each one of these being a top contender to possibly take on the Avid Power. Starting in order of advertised torque, we have the Chemo. This is a top choice because it was the most requested brand in our last Amazon Impact episode. Frankly, we had not planned to include this brand just because they email us all the dang time and wanted to send us free tools and sales commissions, and usually that means you guys have seen plenty of YouTubers already try these out. But many of you wanted to see a Chemo included, so here it is. This is their 3063B model, which is by far their best-selling model and one of the best-selling impacts on Amazon, so we figured it's likely a good place to start. We paid $95 for it. It advertises 250 foot-pounds of torque, and new for the category, offering a brushless motor, something obviously lacking in the Avid Power due to that one's size, this Chemo benefiting from it by being just 5.9 inches long, much shorter than the 8.6 inch Avid. I mean, they do call it a high torque impact wrench on their sell page, so it would appear they want to play with the others, and it's $95, which is already $10 up on the Avid Power. But for that $95, you do get some non-impact rated extensions, it's a bit weird, and 7 impact sockets and lug nut sizes, plus charger and 2 amp hour battery. The smallest battery on the day. Personally, I would have preferred maybe a 4 amp hour battery and no extensions, maybe some less sockets, but hey, a 4 amp hour Chemo battery by itself goes for $60 bare on Amazon. That's quite a bit. The first test we'll be doing for these impacts today is called Working Torque, 5 seconds and forward. Here's the Chemo taking on the Avid Power. We've already tested and hopefully you've already watched because, yeah, here comes some spoilers. Oof, just 98 foot-pounds. I know it's smaller and rated for less, but its 250 rating is only 25% less than the Avid. That should put it closer to 200 here, not 100. Our next Amazon brand we're featuring today is the Aoben. This is the top $80 to $120 Amazon brand impact wrench our viewers bought instead of buying something else from one of our links or Amazon storefront. Basically, they went to our storefront, clicked on something that must have tested well if it's there, saw the price of that name brand, then found themselves navigating to this Aoben AB7335 and purchased this instead, which is enough reason for us to want to know for ourselves. And it's hard to deny that the value isn't attractive if true. $80, 300 foot-pounds, brushless, 4 amp hour battery and sockets, and it's 5.8 inches long, so even a smidge shorter than that Chemo. Its charger is just a barrel plug, definitely a cheaper route, and its anvil has that hollow center hex cutout, sort of like the Bosch Freak. Because of this, we'll be doing that weird trick of not leaving it empty by putting a broken off hex attachment in there, just in case it makes a difference. Check out that weird Bosch episode to learn more. Here's its working torque run. $165. Okay, so for the size, I mean, it could have been worse, as we've seen. That Avid Power really likes this forward direction, so maybe that's what's going on so far. Next up in advertised torque is this, the Day Plus, a $75 only cordless kit rated for 310 foot-pounds. It includes a 6 amp hour battery. Is that why it's a top pick? Well, truthfully, this one checked all of our boxes for a few reasons. One, it's a highly reviewed impact wrench on this page, but this same tool on this page has the lowest review rating of any cordless impact wrench of this price range on Amazon. And lastly, and perhaps most convincingly, our go-to trusty Amazon brand Dynamic Power, or DP as they're most widely known, doesn't make cordless tools. But we couldn't really put on a show without DP as the headliner, and this Day Plus seemed like just the right amount of everything. Right off the hop, I don't know what kind of voltage standard 36F is, but this one measured 61F for us, so already some surprises with this one. And the last thing you want with DP is surprises. Another thing that stood out to us is just how familiar this battery design is looking to one from just 2 minutes ago. Here's the AOBins pack. Yup, samesies, same charging port style as well. That doesn't guarantee these are both made in the same factory. Tool factories aren't in the business of making batteries after all, so maybe they just both purchase from the same supplier of this stuff. Either way, should have known this DP was willing to switch hit. The Day Plus is just over 6.5 inches long though. That's above average, okay, statistically proven. So let's see if it can leave an impression. "106 foot-pounds. Well, we sure know how to pick them, huh? It is just the first test of the day. Maybe the Chemo and DP prefer going in reverse. There's no shame there. Okay, in order of advertised torque, next we have the 330 foot-pound rated #1 selling on the site Avid Power, which we've been testing so far, so no surprises there, but really hasn't been touched yet. Maybe just a rare standout? One of the last contenders to answer that is the CC, 479 foot-pound rated, which is the highest rated sort of mid-torque non-200 plus cordless on Amazon at the time of making this. This one was 135, but is only available as a kit with 2 4 amp hour batteries, so pretty in line with the others, or heck, even cheaper when you consider Chemo's 4 amp hour is $60. Considering you're unlikely to have any of these brands' batteries already, having a backup is pretty needed for more than just casual use. And hey, that battery's looking pretty familiar again. I swear we didn't do this on purpose. Either all these tools are made under the same roof, or all these cordless manufacturers are buying their battery packs from the same swap meet. I guess the latter is more likely, and we're hoping so because we want this thing to make some real power for once. At 7.6 inches long and brushless, she's certainly the biggest brushless motor on the day, yet still shorter than the Avid Power by an inch. Alright, working torque, let's see if the CC sees some serious sauce. $287, okay, now we're talking. And that just sort of sounds like a real impact again too, don't you think? I guess it makes sense that the highest rated impact wrench should do the best today, but it's not like the ones before this were exactly in order of their ratings or in proportion to one another at all. Before I jinx myself, let's hop into a series called Max Torque, 10 seconds in reverse. Here's the Chemo versus that Avid Power. Okay, 155 and 264 now, not as massive a gap. That Chemo liking reverse somewhat, and the Avid Power usually prefers forward. Here's the AOBin. $162, that's not good. This tool made 165 in a 5-second forward test, not enjoying reverse at all. Here's the DP. $141, not the amount of hammering you'd expect from DP if we're honest. And last up, the CC, this time in reverse. Can it still bring it? $340. Seriously. Liking reverse way more than the Avid Power did compared to forward, and $340 for this size of gun is just plain good. Our rigid octane makes $301 here, and the Gen 1 M18 mid-torque makes $320. Alright, let's settle this thing once and for all. Here's our best case scenario, batteries fresh off the charger, 15 seconds, whatever their preferred direction is. Both the Chemo and the DP prefer reverse together, though not by much, so let's see their BCS run now versus the Avid Power. $173 and $147 versus the forward favoring Avid Power. Not very good. Really haven't been this disappointed about a DP session since my first go at one long ago. Here's the AOBin BCS run. $210. That AOBin being the shortest on the day definitely seems to be the best of the rest sort of option, though not moving the needle a whole lot. Now for the CC, it preferred forward, but only in this case by about 9 foot-pounds, so not by much. Here's its BCS run. $383, what a champ. This one's max or BCS runs are more than the average mid-torque on our ranking list from brands like DeWalt, Hilti, Rigid, Craftsman, and more. Subjectively speaking, it's the only impact on the day that felt, to us, like a modern brushless mid-torque power-wise, just by how hard it was hitting on our test bolts. Before we head over to our rank chart though, we had one last question to answer, and one that could only be done by spending some more dough. We noticed a slightly lower rated 442 foot-pound impact on Amazon that looked identical to the CC, had 2 batteries, and was just orange, and was often priced lower and sometimes clickable coupons available as well. So seeing how well this CC did and the potential for you guys to be saving even more coin existing, we bought this Kukmo as well for about 120 bucks. And well, yeah, it fits the part. It does have a slide-on charging station, but both chargers work on each other's batteries. Identical tools. You can even see some of the tooling marks and flashing left over from the injection molding machine on each tool as well. But we don't need to resort to looking at these things. We have a dyno for that. Here's a max torque test comparing the two. $345 over $340, and within margin of error between runs on the same gun. So some cost savings to be had if you go this route. Double check the links below though, just to be sure. That leads us finally to our Amazon brand rank chart. They have their own chart for now since they are only priced as combo kits, and their value score is going to be taken with a grain of salt that we don't really know how long each one of these are going to last. And the warranty is basically Amazon's 1 month period, but again, see our community post or Instagram post where we're working on something for this. Starting down here below the Avid Power in order of advertised torque, their power runs are turned into points as 10, 16, and 17, 17, 16, and 21, 11, 14, and 15, and 29, 34, and 38. Quite a stark difference you'll notice here. The AOBin is the shortest at 5.8 inches, and the CC/Kukmo is the longest new addition, yet it made the most beans to make up for it. That's 29.3, 36.2, 22.4, and 50.4 foot-pounds per inch. None of the new additions to this list hit their torque claims. The Chemo made 69% of their claim 250, the AOBin 70%, the DP just 47%, that's a new low. DP not all it's advertised to be, guys. and 87% for the 442 foot-pound claimed color of this tool. As a function of power and price, which is sort of the point today, the Chemo gets the lowest with 27.3 points, then 39.4, 29.4, and 54.7. This price is being artificially adjusted to remove the extra battery for comparing apples to apples, and pretty conservatively as well. I think it's fair. That totals 168.6, 199.6, 138.8, ouch, and 293.1, putting the CC/Kukmo up top and where we feel it probably belongs. It's a shorter, more powerful, brushless contemporary to the Avid Power with an extra battery, which is useful. That Chemo though, maybe their best-selling model is not the one to choose? Makes you think that they don't really watch our channel if they wanted to send us stuff like this for free to test, and there's little way we can show you anything but how not powerful this thing is. Though that admittedly small battery may be useful on some of their other tools that you could also own. We included 5 impacts and later a 6th today because we wanted to provide you guys and prospective new impact wrench shoppers and gift givers a one-stop shop to find something useful on the website. And I think we did that. We're not going to get into the habit of building this out as a category in a large way, but go ahead and leave some additional Amazon brands below if you like for a possible future multi-head-to-head. Appreciate you joining us for this one. Click subscribe to see some of the next stuff we're working on, and thanks as always for watching.